Hello, friends. Today's episode is brought to you by From Within Records. The One Scene Unites in the Panhandle, Saturday, May 18th. From Within Records Spring 2024 Showcase featuring Magnitude, Mouse at the Palace, Seed of Pain, Envision, Warren, Collateral, Dimension 6, Statement of Pride, Burning Strong, and Milestone. This will all be taking place at the Handlebar. So please, if you haven't had a chance to grab your tickets, please head over to FromWithinRecords.com and grab one before it's too late. Also, all due respect, Demo 2 tapes are available in the web store, so please grab one while supplies last. If you're not following From Within Records on social media, please go boot up your Twitter, your Instagram, and click that follow button to stay up to date on all the current news. And like I always say, please support From Within Records because they support us. If you're looking for high quality merch for your band or for your business, please hit up my friends over at Good Fortune Printing out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. You can follow them on Instagram at Good Fortune Printing. Or if you want to get in contact with them, please email them, contact@goodfortuneprinting.com. You can thank me later. Before we get into today's guests, just want to address a couple things. Today was the first day we uploaded our exclusive vlog series to X, formerly known as Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter or X, please head over there, click that follow button. I will be uploading exclusive vlogs over there. The first one was my trip to Long Beach, because there was a band from San Jose called Seltzer. They came down to Southern California for the first time. Really fun band. If you're not familiar, please go tap in. Go listen to Seltzer. They're awesome. Hopefully they'll be back sooner than later. Also, Stateside played. That's always a treat for me. I love Stateside. Spirit Dive played. Awesome band. It was just a great time. I had fun finally making it to the Lodge for a show. I've been to the Lodge before. I've gotten my haircut there a couple times, but it was my first time getting to experience a show in that setting. It was cool. We got to talk to Ben from Fading Fast, also from Spirit Dive. Nice little chat with him. Lemus sending the vlog off ride. It was a good time. So if you're a fan of any of those things, I highly suggest you head over to my Twitter and check out the vlog. It's awesome. It's fun. And I will be doing more of those. There will still be normal vlogs on the YouTube channel. Obviously, we're still supporting the YouTube channel the same way we've always had, right? There's K-pop stuff there. The podcast will be there. Vlogs will be there, but this is just a new thing that we're doing. So I hope you enjoy it and support it because it's fun. I love doing these kinds of things, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you consume it. I hope you tell all your friends. Also, there's this video on my Instagram. It's a reel that I posted. I was at LDB. I saw Scarab, and I posted this reel, not really thinking anything of it. And all of a sudden, it's on SZA's Instagram story, and there's all these people stealing it, which I wouldn't care if they, had hit me up or just given me some kind of notice. But for numerous people, right, there's a ton of people who are out there blocking me from seeing the stolen content, which is super weird. You can just hit the remix button, or if you just message me, be like, "Hey, really enjoyed the video. Is it cool if I posted it on my meme page?" I wouldn't have cared. But for people trying to be sneaky and probably monetizing off of it, right? Because I don't have monetization on for that reel. I easily could have, but that wasn't the point of the reel. I posted the reel because I'm a huge fan of Scarab. I'm a huge fan of Rebirth Records, and I just wanted to help spread the word, but it just turned to this crazy thing, which is just pretty insane. So please just hit me up if you want to use the video. Don't try to be weird and block me, because there was instances where I was blocked from certain, just blocked from viewing the story, not from their profile, but just blocked from viewing the story or the reel or whatever. But friends, reposted the account, and I saw it that way, which is really strange. And, it's not cool. But that has been a thing for the past 2 weeks. And I I can see it finally slowing down, right? And I'm just looking forward to moving on from that. But if you're not familiar with Scarab or Rebirth Records at this point, do yourself a favor and go tap in, because Scarab's an awesome band. Rebirth Records is awesome too. Shout out that new band Terminator. Huge fan of that. So go support the band Scarab and the label Rebirth Records. They're awesome. But on today's episode, we had to track down our good friends Tony and Tyler from the Hudson Valley, right? For anyone who's into hardcore these days, you know the Hudson Valley. And if you don't know the Hudson Valley, just hit pause and never come back. But I'm a huge fan of the Hudson Valley, and there's a lot of cool shit going on out there right now. So I'm happy to have some awesome representatives of the area to come on and talk about some of the newer bands that they're working on. Also, we talk about Pokemon, which is, it's always surprising, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised when people around my age are super tapped in with super tapped in with Pokemon. So that was a fun little part of the conversation, getting to talk about Pokemon. Elden Ring, for anyone who is not familiar, I have every achievement on Elden Ring, and that was due to Tyler being an inspiration, because him and I would talk about Elden Ring. He knows about the lore, and for some reason I got it in my head that he had gotten all the achievements, so I just wanted to be on his level, and I did it. I have every achievement of Elden Ring, and I'm looking forward to the DLC, which comes out in a few short months, which should be awesome. But we also get to hear about Tony's journey across America on his motorcycle, on top of talking about all the music that they're working on. This was one of my more favorite conversations. I always hold the Hudson Valley to a special place in my heart. Just a lot of places in New York, right? I fucking love Long Island. I love Syracuse. That's why we always do those check-ins with Dylan from Deal with God. New York's always doing cool shit, but currently right now, you're going to hear about the Hudson Valley and what they got going on. So please strap in, enjoy this conversation. Without further ado, welcome Tyler and Tony to the show. And we're recording. Welcome to the podcast, Tyler and Tony. How's it going, guys?
What up, bro?
Just chilling. Yeah, I've been a longtime fan of the Hudson Valley, so it's an honor to have you guys on the podcast. I'm a huge fan of your guys' scene, so I'm always pumped to talk to anybody from your area.
Dude, fuck yeah. I'm stoked to be back for number 3, but I didn't want to do it alone, so here's Tony.
What's up, Tony? Okay. Do you want to start with Crush Your Soul?
Yeah, man.
That, like Tyler hit me up, to do this podcast, and obviously I'm always down, and he just mentioned like, there's gonna be some new bands dropping, but that's all I was told. So when Crush Your Soul dropped, I was just like, okay, well, like, what is this? And listening to it, I was like, this is crazy. Like I could not, like, I was like, I feel like just even on social media that day, like people were going crazy. I was seeing it everywhere. But from your perspective, can you talk about like how that band came together?
Yeah, man. First of all, thanks for listening to it. It means a lot. Seriously. It happened mad fast. I went to a Mindforce show in Jersey at the spot in Belmar, Salties. It's been doing a lot of shows lately. Mm-hmm. And Jay was talking to me about doing a kind of metallic sort of hardcore band, like in the vein of what the Hudson Valley is known for. Stuff like All Out War, and we got talking about Kickback and Marauder and sort of all the bands that explain the stuff that I like. And specifically when I mentioned Marauder, the Eddie Leeway demo, that's like Jay's number one thing. So we got together, wrote a couple songs, and it was like 2 months, dude. It was real quick.
And musically, at the time, were you even like wanting to do like a new band, or like where were you at with all that?
Yeah, 100%, and definitely something more like metallic and heavy like that. That's my interest, and I don't really have a band that's like that, or I didn't at the time. So I was super stoked when he asked me, for sure.
Yeah. And obviously, like, I'm sure you weren't expecting the kind of like reception that you guys got, right? Because it's hard to predict, especially with the new band, because obviously you want to get out there and try to get people's attention. But I feel like the like quality of the music is what like drove all that attention to it.
100%, yeah, definitely the most professional sounding thing I was ever involved in up until now, and I think that did have something to do with it. And to me, the reaction has been like massive. It's the most, I think, that I've ever seen a band that I'm in. I mean, pretty objectively. So it was really cool to watch it. And I'm super stoked for our first show that got announced in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to do that shit, dude.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. And obviously, Jay plays in a couple other projects. Is it going to be hard to balance Crush Your Soul, trying to make time for that? Do you guys want to be a full-time thing, or do you guys just kind of going like one step at a time right now?
Yeah, we're keeping it kind of loose because obviously, like you said, everyone's involved in other bands, and it's kind of hard to get all of us at the same time. But we're just keeping it loose. Whatever we can do, I think we'll want to do. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm sure anybody who's listening to this has definitely listened to Crush Your Soul by this point. But if for some reason, if they haven't, please do yourself a favor and go check out that first release because it's insane.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
That album artwork reminds me of Open Mouth Kiss, like Leeway, like same format. The colors are fucking awesome. That's like one of my favorite Leeway albums. So immediately when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I need to fucking check it out.
And who did the artwork?
Dom. He's playing bass.
Okay.
Dom from Sim-
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does a ton of like crazy shit.
Yeah, dude, his art's wild. So dark.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly fits the vibe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I didn't even know he did the artwork for that. So yes, looking at it now and thinking, okay, that is definitely right up his alley. And Tyler, I was dying when I had posted that podcast a while back, and when I posted that podcast, shout out Adam from Cold Kiss.
Yeah, Adam did one. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like talking to you about that, because it's funny because I obviously I message you here and there throughout the year, so it's just cool to finally have you back on the podcast to talk about things that you're working on.
Dude, always down to chill, bro. Love fucking. I haven't seen. I think like we haven't talked in a minute. So last time I saw you was FYA like 2 years ago. So
yeah.
I got to get out to Cali. I was supposed to get out to Cali to go to Sound and Fury last year, but I had some shit come up, so I couldn't make it. But
yeah, and yeah, Sound and Fury this year is pretty crazy too with the return of Have Heart.
Yeah, the lineup is pretty fucking solid. I don't know. I'm limited to my PTO balance, so we'll see if I can swing it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Like, obviously, like for me, I live like close enough to where like that's not something where I would have to like take time off to go because it's like it's drivable, right? It's probably like if I think about it with traffic, maybe like an hour from where I live, but without traffic, easily do that in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. The trip was I was trying to. I really love Unbroken and Undertow. Like those are my two like favorite kind of Northwestern or Western bands. Hardcore bands at least, but when I saw they were playing Indecision, and like I knew Sound and Fury was like the same weekend,
so
it was like trying to plan like a week-long vacation around that, and I was gonna stay with my friend as at the time he was living in California. His name's Young Scuff. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No, not familiar.
He's from the Hudson Valley. We were in a band together back like when we were teenagers, but he lived out there, and like I was gonna go stay with him, but he had some shit come up. He lived with a famous, like a YouTuber named Jake Weber. I'm not into that at all, but yeah, he lived with some notable people, and he was going to have me over and let me sleep there, but didn't work out. But it is what it is. I'll get get out to Cali soon. I've never been, and I'd love to. So I want to go to Program really bad. All the program shows are fucking awesome. I want to play Program like bad.
That's where we met, Jamie.
Yeah. I remember that. Shout out Program. Yeah, they're always doing cool stuff. It's always like awesome to hear like that people want to play Program, especially people from out of state. So everybody's welcome. If you're touring through, come play Program. Come play Orange County.
We'll try.
But okay, well, yeah, I can't believe you haven't been out here. It's a fun. Obviously, there's always something going on. The scene's awesome. There's tons of great scenes out here. But yeah, hopefully at some point you're able to make it out here.
Yeah, I've been listening to like a ton of California bands, dude. Like Extinguish is like in nonstop rotation, like 24/7. Field of Flames, like Out of Pocket. I'm rocking the Out of Pocket. Berserk Hoodie, bro. They're fucking insane. I've been getting into them recently a lot. But yeah, man, and like Cans of God coming back is amazing. Yeah, I think everyone is just like in unanimous like rejoice of that, you know. Yeah,
I'm going to LDB in a few weeks, and they were like a late addition to the fest because I think it was MS Paint had to drop off, so Hands of God got added to one of the days, and I was like, oh shit, this is nice because I've been wanting to see them because it's been years since I was able to see them live. So to be able to see them,
MS Paint, are they from California? They are, right?
I don't know anything about that band if I'm being honest.
Because I was going to say they played Tubby's, like a one-off show. Like we have a venue in Kingston, like close to us, and I remember that band came through there, and I saw a flyer for it, like the day before it was happening. I was like, oh, I think I've never listened to that band, but I was just curious if you knew anything about them.
No, I think they have an awesome name. I love the band name, but yeah, I've never listened to them. But yeah, but apparently they dropped off, and Hands of God got added, and somebody else got added too, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But but I'm just excited because, like I said, I haven't seen them in years, and I've always I've been bugging Theo from Hands of God to come on the podcast for years. So hopefully we can get that locked in for a future podcast. But yeah, I'm just a huge fan of that band, so I'm definitely stoked to be able to see them in a couple of weeks.
We're in like a bass chat together, so I'll yell at him and I'll tell him to come on.
For sure.
Shout out Bass Pros.
Bass Pros, yeah.
It's a wild group chat. It's a never-ending group chat, bro. It's just guitar players couldn't understand. It's just,
what's crazy is we were in Colombia together, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him.
Oh, really? What were you in Colombia for?
Oh, it was for a fest, the 100% Bogota fest that the Carlos from Raw Brigade and his crew puts on.
I saw pictures and videos of that.
Yeah, that was a crazy time. But yeah, I'm sure we'll figure it out and try to make it happen in the future. Want to do like a Hands of God podcast?
Be sick. I would be listening. Sure, Tony would too. That's like one of his favorite bands.
Love it, dude. My favorite band I never got to see.
Yeah, well, hopefully, they're playing LDB. Maybe there's more shows to come in the future.
Hopefully soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Hands of God East Coast run, please.
Yeah.
And Tony, you had some new music come out a couple weeks ago. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, man. Well, we did Means of Survival was the most recent thing that I was involved with that came out. We had that one cooking for a long time, but I think we're all really, really happy with how it came out. From the time we were like the early stages of working on it, it's kind of took a lot of breaks. Everyone's also involved in other bands, so that kind of makes it hard to get together. And we had a little bit of a membership change. We brought Ryan on to do drums, and it really helped get the songs to like sound the way we wanted to from that perspective. And then also working with Quas at the source, I think that the songs are exactly the way that we wanted them in the end.
They sound man.
Yeah, and how long had you guys been working on that new record that just dropped?
On and off for a long time. Like when we decided it was like time to do it and it had to happen, we pulled it together kind of quick. It took us like, I don't know, a few months, but things never go as fast as you want them to,
Yeah. And the timing of the release, was that, the time you wanted? Because obviously, Crush Your Soul had just dropped, and do you guys want to like, give it some time to, not get like lumped in, or were you guys just down to just, kind of just blow up and have, like a more spotlight on your guys' scene?
I think the timing worked out like perfect, because I think Crush Your Soul came out in like early February-ish.
Yeah.
And then like It Means came out March 1st. I don't know. I think like the timeline of like when all the shit dropped, because he's like doing Gigan too, and Gigan came out around that timeline. But I think like, and Cross came out too, Cross of Disbelief, awesome Hudson Valley band. Sorry. But yeah, I think like the timeline of everything was like perfect for like every band, because like it was just like new Hudson Valley band like every 3 weeks. It was fucking awesome. And I feel like every single one got received like super well.
100%. And I think that's pretty cool too. I don't know if the other bands, if you guys all had it planned out that way, but I think it's really cool to kind of just keep the spotlight there, because obviously there's there's been a ton of great music coming out of there, but to kind of be able to showcase and keep people's attention for like, hey, there's like this new wave that's coming with these newer bands.
Yeah, I mean, definitely keeping people's attention. Every band that came out got like pretty big, like Gigan and Crush Your Soul, like Streets of Hate did.
Streets of Hate, yeah, dude.
Mhm.
And Fira did, Cross and us. Just like the people that were putting us out all made sense. It's people that we've known for a while. And, Connecticut, Hudson Valley, local stuff.
Pros, professionals.
100%. And you mentioned Cross, and then Means of Survival. You guys are on the a Fear showcase. I saw that on the flyer. Which,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, because I'm a fan of that label, love what they're doing. But for them to step up and want to do something like a crazy like 2-day showcase, and just the amount of bands that are on it, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is crazy.
They pulled out all the stops, like Heavens Die, AOA, fucking. I think I know who the TBA is. I won't shed light, but if it is who I'm thinking, it's going to be insane.
Yeah. And then Nomad's last show, rest in peace.
Yeah, they played the Hudson Valley once. Good band.
Yeah, I was hoping to book them in California, but that's not happening.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's my that's always my goal. It's like, all right, please come to California, let me book your band.
Yeah, those I think they'll another band will pop up, that those kids will do.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. But yeah, but just like I'm literally trying to fly out for that showcase.
You should, dude. You can fucking stay with me if you want. I mean, I live like an hour 15 from Connecticut. Like that's why like the scenes have always been, kind of intertwined. Is like we're right next to each other, so it's like super easy to get to.
That's the thing with the showcase for me, is that it feels like reminiscent of the last Wham Leg show. How it was just like,
shit was fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude. It felt like a very strong connection between that scene in Connecticut and the Hudson Valley for us to play that. So really psyched to be on that showcase.
Yeah, I'm tripping out because I didn't realize it was that close for you guys.
Yeah, it's super close. And it's always been like that, even in like the 90s. Like, I don't know if you've ever like heard of like, bands like Drowning Room. Like, speaking of like, we're at my job, but like the guitar player of Drowning Room is an old Hudson Valley band. Like, he comes into my job and like uses us, and like we'll just talk about fucking hardcore, and like he'll like tell me about flyers like from the 90s, and it's like the exact same spirit now. It truly is. It's like very same like beliefs and core. It's just always been that way between the two states.
Yeah, I always feel like that's like really important to have those relationships, right? Obviously, like you want to build out and have like a strong local scene, but if you can have good relations with like your neighboring scenes and kind of join forces to support each other, that just makes it even stronger.
Sure.
Yeah, because like for us, like living out here, Southern California, like obviously there's like the LA scene, Orange County scene, San Diego scene, the Inland Empire, even though all separate scenes, but they all work together, and there's always like 6 shows going on out here. But then also, you branch out to like Central and Northern California, there's like, great bonds there. But then even when you start to go to like the neighboring states, right? Like Las Vegas is like, like this perfect gateway to California. Because if you look at what like the guys in Black Path are doing out in Las Vegas, they're always putting on like the sickest shows, and it's all like DIY. So it's always cool to have those relationships with just neighboring scenes, and if you can, if it makes sense, right, even with neighboring states, because like the Las Vegas is like 3.5-4 hours from us, so it's not the worst drive to make for a show.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware that it was that close. I thought it was like 5-6-ish.
No, yeah, and then even some people get crazy, get on an airplane. It's like 30 minutes. So, because like there's like always like cheap flights, either from like Orange County at the John Wayne Airport, or even like LAX to Las Vegas. It's like there's always like super cheap flights going on.
Yeah.
So it's pretty possible, but okay. And then with the new bands popping up out in the Hudson Valley, like do you see like a crop of like new kids popping up, younger kids popping up at the local shows out there?
We don't have like a ton of local shows all the time in Hudson Valley. I feel like I feel like they're sporadic.
Yeah. The rate that they happen, there's a lot of like, I think there's a few people that book shows, so there's like a lot of different kinds of hardcore and like heavier shows that happen here. And it's like, kids will like stick to one side and then we'll come to, another booker, another kind of show. But everyone like still supports, everyone still, shares all the flyers, and everyone talks about all the bands. It's definitely a lot of the same people that have been involved for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, maybe like a few I've noticed, like I've definitely noticed like, like the local shows that we do have here are always usually pretty packed,
Yeah. It's always been familiar faces throughout the years, for sure.
Yeah.
100%. That's cool. Because obviously I feel like when people hear the name like Hudson Valley, it's like a positive thing, right? Like it's like, oh, that's a Hudson Valley band. Or whenever people like talk about your area, I feel like you guys like over the years have like kind of just like earned this reputation of being a great hardcore scene.
Yeah, man. Tons of great bands. Most recently, I think we have a lot to owe to Mindforce for really putting the scene on the map. And obviously Streets of Hate putting bands out all the time.
And I think that's awesome too, right? Because for a band to be so proud from like where they're from, I think that can do a lot of positive things for the scene, right? Because you see how big Mindforce is, and they're always repping for where they come from. And I feel like that, people should be proud of where they come from, even if it's not, the most like known scene or whatever. But for you guys to, to go out and rep it and, make people known about it if it's not already, I think it's great because, I'm very prideful of the scene that we have out here in Orange County. I'm always trying to do my best to, put on for the scene, prop up all the, newer bands coming out and just, help grow it. So, I like when I look at a band like Mindforce and see, how they talk about, their scene and, even just putting in the work and just, trying to bring everyone from there along with them. I think it's, super dope, and, wish it was always like that.
Yeah, dude. It feels really good seeing a band from our area playing out, as far and as frequently as they do. And they're constantly repping and putting on for everybody in the scene. So mad respect.
Dedicated.
Mindforce.
I could I was putting two and two together.
Yeah. Of course. It is what it is,
Yeah. And I was thinking about the show, because this past weekend they played that makeup show, right? Because
it was last night.
Yeah, and I think that's like super sick too, right? Because when they did those 2 nights, I forget which night. It was the first night that got shut down from the 2 nights, right? That they did.
Yeah.
So for them to be down and want to make up for it, and especially so soon, I think that's really dope, right? Because obviously it can be hard with scheduling, and especially with a band like that probably has things booked out so far in advance. So for them to make time and do a makeup show so soon from when the first one got canceled, I think that's really sick.
Ryan's calling.
Give me 1 second, Jamie. Sorry.
No problem.
All right, we're back.
Word. Yeah, show was sick too, man. It was dope. Everyone had great sets. Cross and Disbelief played, another Valley band. Deal with God from Syracuse, who I get to go on a weekend with in about a month with Godskin Peeler. Super psyched for that. Ajara, wild, insane set. Love all the metalcore revival shit. And Bayway. It was the first time I seen Bayway, and honestly, I hadn't listened to them before that, but I loved every second of it, dude. Crazy energy. It's right up my alley.
That's sick. Yeah, huge fan of Bayway. I had the singer on a while back, and I'm just so happy to see the success that they're having, and just seeing, how much cool shit that they've been doing. With them working with Days and just them staying active. So it was cool to see them on that show, and it's awesome to hear that they had a good reaction.
Yeah, dude, it was sick. I was late to the party with that one. I must admit, but glad I got to watch them.
Yeah, no, honestly, they kind of came out of left field for me, because I remember I was in Philly and I was hanging out with Jacob Smith from like Fool's Game, and he put me on to Bayway, and then after that I was just like, all right, this is sick. Like, this wasn't even on my radar, so I started paying attention, and yeah, just like I said, just like watching them grow. It's awesome. I love to see, like, and just like them, they're so proud to be from New Jersey. They're always repping New Jersey, and I feel like that just does a lot, for your scene when you have just bands going out and just repping hard for where they come from. But
the day before was Missing Link and Balmora at Fusebox, which is like the old QE2. Or new QE2, but yeah, I think that's a weekend because they're playing tonight in Mass. I think it's Shara, Cross, and Deal with God. Could be wrong on that, but yeah, it was like a little weekend. Yeah,
well, yeah.
They did.
Balmora headliner at the Hoff tonight. Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of Balmora too. Like that band's killing it.
Damn, dude.
From like the instant. Like I heard it, was just like, yeah, this is like perfect.
Right from the moment
yeah, dude. I think it's like unanimous with like everybody. It's like undeniable.
You can't not like it.
Yeah, and just their sound, because I've always been a fan of that type of music, but like in my rotation, that's not like there's not a lot of that going on. So when they popped up, I was like, oh hell yeah, this is something that hasn't been done that good in a while, in my opinion. So just to be able to add that to things that I regularly listen to, it's awesome. So like that's the band that I'm just like constantly like rooting for, and it's just cool to see them just always doing cool stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And as far as like newer music, like what else are you guys listening to these days?
It's always a hard question because it's like I never think about it, just like on a drive or whatever. Listen to a lot, like I listen to Starflyer 59 a lot. It's like not hardcore at all, but I listen to a ton of his stuff. Out of Pocket for sure. Fucking been in a hot spot. It's really all I can think about right now, but I'm sure it's a ton more. I just having a brain fart.
Dude, my favorite thing lately has been Haywire. I can't stop listening to it. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's everything you need and nothing that you don't. You know what I'm saying?
I want to see them live because they're insane.
Yeah, great set at FYA. One of my favorite sets that day. I flew down like really late Saturday night. We got into Tampa like, I don't know, 1 and 2 in the morning, something like that. So we only went to the Sunday date, but I was like really hyped to see their set that day. I'm glad I did. The reaction was phenomenal. It's really great. I missed CMI, but I'm finally seeing them on Friday. They're playing the same venue that the Mind Force makeup show was at, Brooklyn Meadows. That's another band that's been in my rotation. I've just like been liking that kind of grittier style, more straightforward hardcore. The Collateral shit. I love that band right now too.
I gotta listen to that. I gotta listen to more of Wallace bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the recent releases We Still Know, right?
Yeah, we still know.
So, dude, front to back.
Yeah, shout out Fortress Records, shout out Florida. Yeah, that band is sick too, right? Like even with like the like demo that they put out, and then now with this new like EP, it just seems like it's sick because it's just like, yeah, they know what they're doing, and it's just like, you know, banger after banger, and yeah, huge fan of that band. Yeah,
there's a lot of shit that came out last year that like I'm still fucking listening to, like the new Scourge, like the newest Scourge, like all the time. The Despise. I'm sure both
Despise.
Both of us like are listening to Despise like crazy. This band Existence is like fucking insane. I don't know where.
They're Swedish, right?
Yeah, they're Swedish. Mortal Form is like also another band I've listened to like constantly. It's like, you know, I'm assuming the name was taken from Only Living Witness, and like that's kind of our shit. But like that band fucking rolls, dude. It's like perfect dive bomb. Like it's just like I can't even explain it. It's that good.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, my friend's playing a band out here. They just signed a Triple B called No Way Out. They're about to drop their new record in a couple days, and
I've seen that.
Yeah, they're like my favorite band from California right now because just with the demo that they put out, I think is just so sick, and new record is awesome, and I feel like just that style of hardcore, just straight up, just, you know, I don't like saying regular hardcore, but yeah, just like it's just like real hardcore. It's so good, and just with like their influences, because they're like, you know, into like locking out and all that type of stuff, and it's just like it's not something that I thought I needed, but they just kind of came out of nowhere with it, and it's just like, yeah, they're fucking awesome and killing it. So I'm just happy to see a band like that get attention in 2024, and you know, they're just playing a bunch of cool shows out here, and it's just like one of my favorite bands going on, not just in California, but just in hardcore in general.
Yeah,
that's a sick name.
Yeah. So yeah, just look out for that. That comes out in a couple of days. Yeah, I think pre-orders, and the album goes like live streaming like the same day. So
yeah, I'll check it out. Another two I gotta mention. I just thought of Burning Lord. Fucking 10 out of 10 band.
Great band.
I want them to play in Hudson Valley like very bad. I think that'll happen soon because they're on Streets of Hate now. But yeah, I've been listening to them constantly, and Final Resting Place, like that's like the coolest fucking demo ever.
I still need to check that out. I saw people posting that, but yeah, I still haven't checked it out yet.
Wild, dude.
It's gonna be like murder.
Yeah,
like real murder.
We're playing the same day of the Pure Showcase. So I can see them.
Yeah, sure. At the B-Rax, that's gonna be insane.
Yeah, dude. It's not, that band is gnarly. Shout out Alex.
Yeah, I just love the name. The name just sounds intense.
I think it like perfectly encapsulates like how it sounds, and like even the artwork. Like I think like Dom did that too.
Yeah.
Like just like screams like, you know, shit from a different time. You know, it's just,
I agree.
Like, amazing.
I love that the release date on Spotify says 1995. That's so sick.
It threw a lot of people off.
Yeah, because it feels like a band you've heard. You know, like it belongs in that era. You know.
I didn't even, I gotta go check that out, but that is interesting. Yeah, because that would throw me off, because I'm someone who likes to just go like look at the credits and, you know, see what's up. And if I were to see that today, I'd be like, oh, this is like an old band coming back, because that would definitely throw me off.
Yeah.
But okay, and is there any like, because obviously like we talked about you know, the new stuff that popped up recently, but are there any like newer bands that we should be on the lookout for from your guys' area?
I guess just like all his bands.
Gigan. We got Gigan, bro.
Yeah, Gigan is fucking awesome. I think that shit's like an instant classic. Like,
yeah,
appreciate that.
Track crime scene photos. It's like ominous, you know, very dark.
Where does that name come from?
Gigan is he's one of the monsters from Godzilla. He's got like he has like the red band for eyes. He's like a crazy dragon looking thing. His arms are like swords.
Okay, I've never really got into Godzilla, so I'm not really familiar with a lot of that. But that's good to know. I want to look into that.
Yeah, word. I I think the movie is Godzilla Final Wars. It's a very Gigan-centric Godzilla movie if you're willing to jump in.
And do I need to watch like any, like, is there like a prerequisite? Do I need to know anything beforehand, or can I jump in blind?
You can jump in blind, 100%.
Okay, all right, yeah, because I saw like a trailer for I don't know what it's called, but I saw like King Kong riding Godzilla's back. Have you seen that?
I've not seen that. Have you seen that?
No.
Sounds wild.
Yeah, because I was just like, wait. I always thought they were supposed to be like the same size, because he looked way smaller on Godzilla's back, and I don't know. It's some weird team up movie that they're doing. So because I'm just kind of lost, because I think that like the last Godzilla movie I saw was like Godzilla like 2000 or something, and this was like a long time ago, so I didn't remember what happened in that movie. So seeing King Kong and Godzilla today, I'm just like tripping out, because I know like obviously there were newer movies, but I didn't even know that they crossed over, like, and they're in the same universe.
Yeah, there's a lot of Godzilla. There's a lot of Godzilla out there.
Okay.
It's been around for like a lot of years, dude, like 70 years, maybe more. I'm not really sure. Not a super hardcore Godzilla fan, but that's just where the name came from for the band. But
we love Gojira too.
Yeah, so
back in the day, well,
I know I do too. But that's like kind of funny, right? Like we have another Godzilla monster name band.
Gojira, Gigan.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that when we did it. Honestly, Beetle came up with Gigan.
I think it's a great name.
Yeah, no.
It feels fit. That band was like, I wanted like a very black metal sound to come through, and like every song is kind of like a minute more or less than that, and that's exactly the vibe we were going for. Just like a fast part and then a heavy part every song, short and sweet, lots of noise.
Yeah, and it's just get straight to the point, all the meat and potatoes. So
exactly.
Okay.
Ryan, Means of Survival drummer, is also playing drums in Gigan.
Nice. Drummers.
I wanted him to be here. He was going to try to make it, but he couldn't do it.
It's all good. There's always, he can come to the next one.
It's true.
Tell him. Show up.
The three of us are doing a new band, and we're recording it in a couple weeks, or 2 to 3 weeks, but it's like a bunch of like lyrics that, like, Tony had a bunch of demos from like almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like this was like bored, so like I wrote lyrics to most of them like right there, and then like we all just got involved in like so much stuff, and then we were just like one day like, why don't we just like do this? I was just like,
yeah. And also, again, shout out Quas at the Source, because like that was my thought process on that too, is like recording with him is so streamlined, and he is an absolute pro. Again, I've used that word a whole bunch of times to describe everybody involved in these bands, but I mean, seriously, like made the whole process so easy. Was like very patient and open-minded about all of our ideas, and like had, very solid input about every song as well to like help guide us to where we want it to be. So like thinking about all the recent recordings that I had done at Quas' studio, like it's so easy to pump bands out. Easier than like I make it out to be when I'm like writing stuff. Like I get very stressed out, and if I sit on ideas for too long, like I want to push them away, and I get, I want to distance myself from them. But just like having a streamlined studio experience makes me want to do it more. So
sure, it's perfectly put.
Yeah, we banged out all the Means of Survival stuff together. You, me, Ryan, pretty much.
Yeah, we did have like instruments in like one day.
Yeah,
and we had
really
even
easy.
Time to Kill. Like after we did it, just vocals are always like longer because you won't really want to tune them down and make sure sounding how you want. You can try it. Got to try a few times, but yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out, and hopefully I keep my voice.
And is there gonna be like a proper rollout for this new band, or are you guys just gonna drop it? Do you guys have plans?
No plans right now. I threw like a name out there. Like the studio time is booked, so it's happening. I think we're gonna do about 5 tracks.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah, and I like they're already written. I didn't have anything to do with the writing process. It was all Tony, but I think it sounds more like HM2 kind of. I could hear like something like that, like a little more fuzz going on, like a dirtier type sound maybe. not like dirtier in the sense that any of the other bands aren't dirty already. But it's like I could see like more fuzzy of a sound almost. And I'm trying to do like, I was like doing like a Cold as Life part. A lot of people think that I sound like the singer of Never Ending Game. Like I get that a lot when I do backup vocals. And everyone's like, "Oh, you should front a band. You should front a band." I was like, "Oh, I never really like." I really like Caleb Schofield from Cave-In is like my favorite bass player.
Okay.
And I really try to like do that. I want to try to sing and play bass at the same time. But I practice a lot to try. But like these songs are no slow parts by any means. They're breakdowns, but it's going to be tough. What I'm trying to say is to do both at the same time. I'm sure as fuck going to try.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be a 3-piece?
Probably a 4. I mean, that very well may not happen. I got to really fine tune it and like separate my brain from like playing and singing. And
It's hard, dude.
it's really hard. Yeah. Like shout out Sen from Soulblind. I don't know how he does it. It's the man. I'm gonna probably hit him up soon. But yeah, I really wanted to do that. That's like kind of my vision. But if that doesn't pan out, which it very well may not, we'll probably just fill out the lineup with people from our area or something.
For sure. Well, yeah, it doesn't hurt to try something new. So I think that'd be cool if you could make it work. Yeah,
no, I'm gonna practice a lot. Hopefully we can do it. I'll record all the bass, anyway. So be kind of already there.
Okay, and I just want to put a pause on the music talk real quick. Tony, last year you did like a cross country trip on your motorcycle.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Guy.
Can you talk about that? Because I know you're supposed to roll through California at some point, but just to I've never even driven cross country in a normal car. So for you to do that on a motorcycle, I think that's pretty awesome. And I'm just like really curious about what that trip was like for you.
Dude, it was like the most amazing thing I ever do in my life. I'm so stoked that you're asking me about this. Thank you, for real. I do remember hitting you up asking if there was like any shows on the calendar for the time that I was hoping to be out in California. But dude, it's like not easy to do. It's hard. There's a lot of long days, and like there's different ways you can go about doing something like that. But getting to California in July from New York is like on a motorcycle is kind of hard depending on like where you end up before you get over to California. Because there's like a good stretch of having possibly to ride through the desert, which is brutal. It's a hard thing. It's a very difficult, physically taxing thing to do. And when we got to the point where we like California was going to be the next thing that we were like the last possible amount of time we had before we had to decide to go to California. I don't know if I'm like saying that weird, but like we walked up to the line and kind of didn't cross it because of how like things kind of planned out. So my friend that I did my motorcycle trip with owns a home in Sturgis, and he had like some water damage in his kitchen, and we had to spend a little bit more time in Sturgis than we originally planned on, kind of sorting that out so he can use his home for for like the rally. It's like a huge, I think it's the biggest motorcycle event in the world, where 500,000 people on Harleys show up to a town that's ordinarily just 7,000 people the whole rest of the year. And also a place where a lot of people just kind of don't live all year round when they do live there, because the winters are like pretty brutal, I would imagine, and there's just not much going on there. But as an aside, we like ended up in Sturgis for a lot longer than we kind of planned on, and time got away from us. And like 3 weeks seems like a lot of time to be doing something like that, but it only feels like a lot of time like right in the beginning, because you're out all day and you're riding, and when you get to these scenic areas like Sturgis, it's picturesque, dude. It's like the most amazing riding you can do. The most amazing riding that I've ever done. It's just like carving through valleys and canyons with like super long stretches. It's like it was designed for motorcycles. So the extra time that we ended up spending there was really like amazing. And at the time I was like really bummed about not going to California, because when I was out there with Age of Apocalypse, they did like a quick run with Seed of Pain where you and I met. The shows were so sick that if I could possibly have worked that into my motorcycle trip, I would do whatever I had to. That's what I thought in the beginning. And then 10 days into the trip already, and like we had so much other stuff that we wanted to do. And I've been getting my friend that I did this trip with into hardcore for a while, but I feel like that would have been a tough sell to get him to want to stave everything else that we had planned off to go to a show out there, because we had people in Denver and Durango that we wanted to see, and then on the backswing on Highway 40, which is like parallel to 66. That was like another important thing in the trip that we wanted to do. A few more of our friends from New York were coming down to meet us in Nashville, so we had to be kind of back in time for that as well. So I'm glad that like I didn't do everything I wanted to do on the trip, because it leaves more for me to go back out to do. And also, like, it went really smoothly for a motorcycle trip, because like so much shit could possibly go wrong. And that's, I don't want to get too negative about it, but like it went smoothly for what it was. And the things that I didn't get to do, like, not only can I still go out and do them, but now I have a better idea of like how to do a trip like that, like the logistics, planning, and yeah, I'm ranting because like it was so amazing, dude. Like it was my favorite 3 weeks I ever spent in my whole life doing anything. Yeah, it was really, really phenomenal.
Now, for a trip like that, and you're on a motorcycle, like, did you have to just like pack light, just bring like a backpack, or did you like, do you have like storage on your motorcycle?
I do have a lot of storage. Like Harleys are kind of the touring motorcycle. They're like made for it. I personally definitely overpacked on this trip, because I brought like a lot of camping gear and like stuff that if we didn't make it to where we wanted to be in time, we could like set up camp and do something like that. And we ended up not needing any of that stuff, but I had never done something like this before. So I certainly overpacked. And that's another thing about that trip that I'm glad that I kind of did wrong. So now I have a better idea of how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay. And then like driving versus like just like being able to chill at certain spots, like did you like want to do bulk driving, or like how did you guys map out like having to travel across the country? We
had like areas that were important to us to check out. So like again, like Sturgis was a big deal because my friend's house is out there, and it's like a mecca for motorcycles. Like the culture is like really, really rich out there. So we had different focal points. The other one was Durango, where my friend is, my road trip partner is friends with the dealer or the owner of the Harley dealership out there. So like that was another focal point. And those two were kind of why California was difficult, because we'd have to shoot like over from Sturgis, and then depending on where a show was, we might have had to like travel a lot in California, which just it very quickly adds extra days to the trip. Mm-hmm. So the routing, the long and short of it is the routing was like getting to the areas that we had like planned on going to. You know what I'm saying? In between a lot of these places, there's like nothing, dude. Like the first day of our trip, we went from where we live in the Hudson Valley to just outside Madison, Wisconsin, in a town called Portage. And that was 1,000 miles. So like one thing that was important to us to do on that trip was to do 1,000-mile stretch in one day. So that was day one. And almost the entire time was spent on Interstate 80, which it's a straight line from where we live out there. There's nothing for most of it. So, you hear like the journey is, what is the phrase?
The journey is a destination.
Journey is a destination. Yeah. But like, some of the long stretches of highway are just like,
when you're on a long stretch of highway, you start to reconsider that fucking phrase, I guess.
I mean, every second of it is still fun. You know what I'm saying?
And when you're doing these long rides, are you trying to just vibe out to nature, or you got your playlist going, or what are you doing to entertain yourself?
Again, like the scenery definitely is. It's a big deal. Having been to places where I've never been before on a motorcycle, it's a very like profound and intense way to experience things, because you don't have the shell of a car around you, so you feel a little bit more not exposed, but like more connected to your surroundings. So like when we did for instance like Badlands National Park is like in the middle of South Dakota, halfway between the eastern border and Sturgis, which is almost Wyoming. It's like if you don't know what Badlands National Park looks like, Google it, check it out. It's unbelievable. It's so beautiful, dude. There's just like these giant rock formations that like I can't even describe them. Like I couldn't do it justice how beautiful it is. But then like being out in there and experiencing it the way that I did through the medium that I did, definitely is profound to wrap that up. And also the playlist was mad important too, because during those 3 weeks, I was like really into outlaw country.
Okay.
Like that was my soundtrack for the playlist. There was just like something about doing a really red-blooded American thing to do and also listening to like really American music that just resonated with me. Most of my playlist at the time was like Waylon Jennings and it's like a lot of classic country like that.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really glad to hear that it was an awesome time for you. You know, I've always wanted a motorcycle, but just never really pulled the trigger. I've always wanted like a cafe racer to kind of like zip around town.
I think you would look sick on a cafe racer. I think you should get one.
Thank you. All right. Well, maybe, you know, I just paid off my car, so maybe I'll invest in a motorcycle now.
There you go. The Cali motorcycle scene is also very rich, right? You're out there, so you probably see all sorts of bikes and, you know, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I have a buddy named Garrett. Shout out Garrett. He has a motorcycle. I'm not sure what kind of motorcycle he has, but he, him and his family like own property in Mexico. So he's done like, you know, like these like trips like with like his other friends that ride motorcycles to Mexico, and he just tells me about them and showed me pictures and stuff. It looks fun. Like you know, it looks awesome. And then also for out here too, it's like a great way to beat traffic is to have a motorcycle.
Yeah, for sure. Lane splitting legal in California.
Yeah,
I'm sure in California, like a lot that applies. I mean, it applies everywhere, but in California, I can see it being very beneficial.
Yeah. It's actually for safety too. People don't consider that because I was hit, stopped at a red light from behind by a driver on my bike, and I wasn't badly injured. My bike was kind of toast from it. I mean, it was painful. It sucked, but
crazy video.
Yeah, I did get it on video as well. So like when you go through the lanes and get up to the front of traffic, you kind of cut down on the risk of getting hit from behind.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that too. I talked so much about that on the Hardcore podcast, so that's my bad. Thank you for asking.
No, it's awesome. No, it's okay. Want to switch gears, but I want to switch over to you, Tyler. We have a big day coming up in a couple months, June 1st, 2024. It's the release of the Shadow of the Erd Tree. You know, we got Elden Ring coming up, and you know, I still think about the day that I got the last achievement that I needed for Elden Ring, and then I made that post about how you inspired me, and the whole time I thought you had all the achievements, but it wasn't until you messaged me and, you know, said thanks, but I don't even have this. My mind was just blown because the whole time I was like, all right, Tyler's done this, I got to do it too.
Well, in Elden Ring, I think I got to like New Game Plus 4 or 5. So,
okay.
You know, I spent a lot of time for sure, but like I'm not big into like platinuming games. I never was, even when like I had consoles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin from Godskin Peeler, that's his shit. Tony's in Godskin Peeler, but he, you know, he's platinum Bloodborne and shit, and he's probably platinum Elden Ring too. So if he's listening, he'll probably get a kick out of that. But,
wait.
Yeah,
if he's listening, DM me back. But go ahead.
Yeah, fucking. Yeah, I never platinumed Elden Ring or any Souls game for that part. I definitely put a lot of time into Bloodborne, probably more so than any other game. That's like one of my favorite games of all time. I love Lovecraftian shit. But yeah, Shadow of the Erd Tree is going to be sick. Probably based on Miquella, right? You want like the trailer is just like that's also just undeniable. That's like one of the greatest DLC trailers of all time.
Yeah, and it feels like it's a whole new game coming out, and because you think about like DLC for a video game, a lot of times it's just like very low scale, like here's a couple costumes or here's some new missions or whatever, but it's like this is like it feels like an expansion, right? It's like an expansion pack.
Yeah. Like when you look at like Dark Souls 3, like, you know, like Ashes of Ariandel, what was that? I'm pretty sure that was like the snow one. It was like very short and it was very like you're just in that one area, but this just feels like a new game. And I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, when I was watching the trailer and then there was the part where the character was doing like the spin kicks, I was like, what the hell is that? I'm like, whatever that is, that's what I want to use when I play this DLC, because that shit just looked insane to me. So I was not expecting any spin kicking in Elden Ring like that.
Yeah, they're adding a lot of cool shit for sure. I want to like rewatch that trailer because I was just like, I watched it like I told you before, but like we're at my job now, just because it would be quiet for us. But I remember like it dropped while I was just like at my office job, and I like opened up YouTube and I'm like watching it with my boss here. I need to.
Yeah, watch the trailer. Yeah, it's dope. Pretty much.
Yeah, and that's something too. Okay, because like I've played, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. I played Demon Souls, Bloodborne, but I was never like good enough to beat those because it was just really hard, right? Like those games, like that's what they're known for, right? FromSoft is putting out these like difficult video games, but when Elden Ring got announced and I saw that George R. R. Martin was, involved, a huge fan of Game of Thrones, I was like, okay, I was like, maybe this is the time I actually take it serious. Cause I had this roommate, shout out, his name's Nightmare. Go follow him on Twitch and Kick. That was like his shit, right? Like when we lived together, I'd go and see what he's doing, and he's 30 hours deep in PvP. He's like explaining to me like, what PvP is and just going in about how like sick these games are. So just like living with him and watching how good he was, I was like, all right, man, I was like, I got to tap in at some point. But I never did until Elden Ring came out, and I was like, all right, I was like, I gotta, like, I just wanted to beat it. Right. Yeah. And then I ended up, getting all the achievements, but I tell people, like, even though I got all the achievements, like, I'm not good at this game. Like, I watch streamers like that. There's this guy named Lil Aggie, or I think it's Aggie, I think that's how you pronounce it, but he's doing like no hit runs, level 1 completing the game. He's doing shit like that. And I'm like, okay, that's somebody who's good at this game. Like, I just did, these achievements. Like, I'm like decent, but I'm not good. So I'm still in awe of that game and how skillful like people can be, just because I know how hard it is.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, Elden Ring was definitely probably the easiest or the best time like I've had with a Souls game. It's like it doesn't hold your hand by any means, but it's definitely the most accessible title in the series. They came a long way. Like quests are like highlighted for you, and previous Souls games, like to do anything cool or special, you have to like doing it yourself requires you to be somewhat of an intelligent person, like a very intelligent person. Like any side quest or like a secret ending, like you have to like know where to go and like know what to do. Or you can just be like me and look it up. But Sekiro, I don't know if you played Sekiro, but Sekiro is like one of the hardest games I ever played. I still haven't finished that.
No, I quit. I the undead monkey, like that was like holding its own head, right, with the swords. Yeah, that boss fight just defeated me, because like when I first beat the first phase, I was like, fuck yeah, we did it. But when there's a second phase, I'm like, dude, I can't do this. This is so hard.
Basically, yeah, that game's tough, man. I still haven't. I got to get back into it one day when I have enough self-confidence. But I played Armor Core. I don't know if you played Armor Core that came out.
No, that one I haven't played.
Never played an old one, but it was cool to see them like bring that series back up to life and kind of put it up to snuff with all the cool stuff. And I think it's exactly what they wanted it to be. People were like, oh, this isn't as good as like another Souls title, but like it doesn't need to be. It's just like a quick, maybe not even quick, but like I guess the game is short, relatively speaking. It's a lot shorter than Elden Ring, but I think it's exactly what they wanted it to be. It was like a really cool, like off the beaten path type thing to do from them, and I think they kind of killed that. So yeah, you should check that game out.
Yeah, I want to, because I do enjoy those games. Like I played, I owned the first Neo, but that one just felt like a bootleg, like FromSoft game. So I didn't really take it too serious.
Oh, the horror game Neo. Is it like a horror survival game?
No. It's like it's like a samurai. It's literally like a Souls ripoff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember, because honestly I only sunk in maybe like 4 or 5 hours, and I I think I was just, and this was like in the middle of like my Elden Ring obsession, so maybe I need to go back and give a little more respect. So I want to do that, and also I played the demo for that. Was it Lies of Pi or Life of Pi? Yeah, the Pinocchio game, which I thought was pretty fun. For it being like a Souls, because like obviously like so many people try to recreate the Souls type type of game. But there was just like there's something missing. But I feel like that one came pretty close and was actually pretty fun. Like when I played the demo.
I've heard it's a masterpiece, like in terms of like technicality and gameplay. I just don't really fuck with the Pinocchio aesthetic, as weird as that sounds. It's just weird. It's
Pinocchio like
yeah, like Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Like what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
cool.
It's pretty interesting. But yeah, but going back to Elden Ring, like playing, I had to at least sunk in like over 100 hours into that game, and I swear I switched my class like 4 or 5 different times because I would get to a certain point where things just got too hard, where I'm like, all right, I need to figure it out. And then even getting to like Melania, I was like, how the hell does anybody beat this person? So I had to look up how to beat her, and use the stupid use some cannon to beat her. That was a strategy that I used because she was just too hard.
Yeah, it's a tough fight. Yeah, I do a thing where I've only done the game. I've 4 new game pluses, and I kind of haven't played. I haven't played really actively in about like a year, probably over a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that came out a while ago now. It's weird to think about, but
yeah.
But yeah, every new game plus I do like a different build. So like the first one I'll do like intelligence, dexterity. Second one I'll do like strength, faith. Strength, faith was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably my favorite build. And then like third I would do like a blood build, double whips or thorn whips.
Yeah.
Just kind of try to get every place out. I've always like done that with most games I played. Kind of get the most out of it.
Yeah, I think I just like rock sling my way through that game.
Yeah, I remember. I think I entered your world or I watched your stream, one of the others, and like it was super random. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that, because like obviously this like DLC was like like it's been in the works for a long time, so I'm stoked that we're like the game comes out June, so that's like halfway through the year, and we're like pretty much halfway. Yeah, we're like halfway to halfway. So it's going to be a good time, but I'm definitely stoked. And I always just when I think of those types of games, you're like one of the first people that comes to mind.
Thank you.
But outside of that, are like what other games are you playing today?
Sekiro, off and on.
Mm-hmm.
Hurting. I got Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I picked those up on and off. Kind of waiting. I'm in like a weird living situation right now. So like once March 31st, I'm gonna make my living room like dope as fuck and set up my Switch and kind of get more into that. I'm also just like really busy now, so I don't really have a ton of time to invest in playing as I do anymore. But because Cold Kiss is like from Albany, so
Mm-hmm.
Albany to us is like an hour 20. So a lot of my like free days, practicing with them, or with friends or family, whatever. But yeah, I usually play like on the weekends or whatever. I'll throw something on and do something. But yeah, not really a ton. That's basically it.
Yeah, but shout out to Zelda.
Playing Pokemon again, but I don't know if that'll happen. We'll see.
I'll have to run through all Pokemon games.
Yeah.
You play Pokemon, Jamie?
I think the last Pokemon I played was the Sword and Shield. So that was like I think like 2 or 3 Pokemons ago.
I didn't feel it.
Something weird about playing it on the Switch. I don't know what it is like on my TV, but
3DS guy.
That's one that I haven't played. I didn't play that, and we talked about this the other day. I did not play Black and White.
Black and White is cool.
I backed out of Black and White too quick because I skipped it and I went to X and Y. Yeah. And it was so amazing playing on the 3DS with like multi-directions and like everything that was added to the game that I thought Black and White was going to be like the same kind of vibe, and I went back to it and I was like,
it's weird.
It's missing something.
It's a weird entry in the series. It's dark. It's a very dark story. I was also telling him it's like darker than previous ones, like for sure. But yeah, the 5th generation is kind of weird because we were like, what, you're 28, 29?
I'm 28. I'm about to be 29.
Yeah, like I'm 26. So yeah, we kind of we're like at that point where like we didn't give a fuck about Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like when that shit came.
Yeah, I love to replay them. The remakes of Emerald or Ruby and Sapphire are my all-time favorite.
Oh yeah. I remember we would like trade shit.
Yeah,
like all day. Fucking yeah.
Have you played those, Jamie?
Yo, I fucked with the Emerald because I was a huge fan of Rayquaza.
Emerald was my favorite game.
Yeah.
Until like at the time, I love those like the middle installments of the different versions, like like Crystal for the second generation. Where you have like there's extra story and stuff involved, extra Pokemon. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, huge fan of those games. Yeah, the newer ones get a little wacky. Like I played Sword and Shield, but I never beat it because it was just like I don't even know what they were going for because they were like there's like these because I feel like they were trying to pull from things that they had going on in like Pokemon Go because they had like this raid system,
right.
And I was like I don't want to do this. This seems pointless. And yeah, so I just kind of just didn't like it. And then also like the Pokemon from that game just like weren't like some of my favorites.
Yeah,
because it gets hard. Yeah, I was saying it gets hard. Because like they have so many Pokemon. Yeah. So it's like.
I don't know if anybody listening to this ever thought that I was listening to Pokemon, but there you go. I don't really talk about it too much. But
yeah. Yeah, so it gets like really hard too. But did you guys ever play Pokemon Go?
I did. Yeah, it was like I loved it at the time, and I fell off just when everybody else fell off too.
Very, very spur of the moment. Yeah, there's a college by me called Vassar College, and I would go there all the time with my friend. And I don't know. I feel like it was just like time killing, and then like I feel like all these like headlines came out. I was like, oh, man gets involved in fatal car accident playing Pokemon Go.
People are dying from Pokemon Go, dude.
People are out here fucking dying.
Crazy time in the zeitgeist.
I don't know. That was a weird time in life. It's a strange one.
Yeah, my friends and I, we used to go to Disneyland all the time, and that was like a cheat code because like there was like gyms and stuff there, and there's always like a million people at Disneyland every day. So Pokemon Go for us was always like easy because there's always stuff and like raids and gyms and stuff going on. And like the last thing I did here, I want to show you guys because I have it on my phone. The last thing that we did was like we did like a raid to catch like Mewtwo. And I was able to catch a shiny Mewtwo.
Wild.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. I was like, because like, coming from that generation and like, that Pokemon, like Mewtwo is like always like legendary. So like, all right, this is sick. I was like, all right, like I'm good. Cause like, I didn't need to catch them all.
Stopping point.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out even how to do this. How do I look at my Pokemon? No.
I have Pokemon Go.
I don't even have it on my phone anymore.
Okay.
Is shiny Mewtwo like a different colorway from like Smash Bros. Mewtwo? You know how you could like change the like skin of your character?
Yeah. He's this one's green.
He's green, right? I thought so.
Yeah.
It was either like yellow or green in my head.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys can see that.
Got him on deck, dude. That's sick.
Oh,
that's pretty gnarly.
Fucking insane.
That's wild.
Yeah. There's my shiny Mewtwo, but outside of that, it's like, yeah, but they got hard because like I stopped going to Disneyland as much, and then like I'm not gonna go around town to play because I had friends who were like, we got to go to like the local library at 4:00 for this thing. I'm just like I was like,
I respect it. Really
yeah, I know people who have like every Pokemon, even like the regional ones, right? They tapped in on like Discord and they have like their friends from like Japan sending like the Japan exclusives and stuff, and that's cool. But I just never really got into it like that heavy.
Yeah.
But shout out Pokemon. But it's crazy because I feel like it's crazy for how like old Pokemon is, but how popular it still is to this day.
Dude, I know. Huge, just cult classic. I will say though, if you fuck with Emerald, you gotta play Omega Ruby Alpha. It's like a love letter. It's truly like they made the ending like non like related to like it's not just a remake. Like it's like they like did everything. Like there's a whole alternate like ending. There's a new character. Like you get like Latios like halfway through the game for nothing. That like never happened. Like Emerald or Ruby. It's crazy. It's a good one. It's you
highly recommend.
Is it? Can you play it on the Switch? Is it in like the store or?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think so. But if you come to fucking Afira Showcase, I'll give you a copy.
on the house.
Yeah, I'll give you my
Just
3DS.
like that.
I'll let you play it.
Oh wow, okay, that's a nice incentive. Okay,
Just like that.
yeah, because that showcase is going to be sick. Because there's just so many bands out there that I want to see that I haven't seen, and I just love that they're doing their own thing, and it's just something super sick.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking crazy. Like I've never been to that B-Rax venue. I believe it's a brewery.
Yeah.
Obviously we're ideally it would have been at Wham Leg, but Wham Leg is gone. But it's still going to be, on par, like same fucking chaos and energy. So
Yo, Torture
is going to be crazy.
That's crazy.
I forgot that they were even on that. But I'm very glad.
There's a shit ton of bands.
Yeah.
I don't know if some of those bands haven't played, if that's going to be like their first or only show. Because a lot of those bands share members too. I bet Jay's in 6, 7 bands. Same with Brandon.
Yeah.
Respect for that, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm like looking at the lineup. I think I've maybe seen I'm looking at it. I think I've only seen one band on it. No, maybe 2 bands. No. Yeah, I think 2 bands.
You got.
I've seen. I've seen Montclair. Shout out Montclair. Oh no, 3 bands. I've seen Montclair, Domain, and Tourniquet.
Oh, you haven't seen Belmore yet?
No. So they came to California, but I had work, and there's no way that I could get to For the Children in time, so I just didn't even go.
Yeah, that Tourniquet set's gonna be wild. I'm psyched for that.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4 because I've seen Age of Apocalypse too.
Yeah, psyched that they're playing that too.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm stoked to see Means of Survival, you guys. I'm stoked to see Contention, Deal with God, Discontent, Nomad.
It's a fucking perfect lineup. It's like they killed it.
Yeah.
People would be considering to fly to me that's like a Wham Leg show.
It is. To me, but Wham Leg lives on in those shows to me.
And just picturing people I'm gonna fly. We're going to the Wham Leg. We're flying. I'm just it's so cool. You know what I mean?
Only because we brought it up a bunch of times. It was just like a DIY. I don't know. Was it even a Legion Hall? It had Legion Hall vibes.
It stands for Wallingford
American Legion. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Wham Leg. So, yeah, that was just where I was I was going to it kind of recently, and then towards its end for the last 2 years that was doing shows. Shout out to the 7th Circle guys, Sean and Senti, always put on for us. The vibes were very specific at those shows. It was just really hard moshing and all the metalcore bands, sprouting out of that area. Yeah, it's awesome because it feels like the same anytime I see those bands anywhere else. Also, speaking of Domain, the new stuff.
Yeah,
band threads.
Yeah, shout out Florida.
So did I. Yeah,
that was a great show.
Yeah. And
shout out to Burger.
Shout out Zach Berger.
Came through. Came with us.
And do you know why that place shut down? Wham Leg?
I don't know actually. No, not the typical reason. I'm sure if you ask anybody from Connecticut, they would probably know. But no, I'd have to ask.
Yeah, there's a kid from out here. He sings for a band called Ruin, and he was on vacation or something. And he went to the last show, and he was telling me how crazy it was, and the power went out.
Yep. Never got to finish. Anthony Fantano was there.
He was there
because he's a Connecticut resident, I believe.
Oh, he is.
You have a picture with him, dude.
Yeah, I forced Tony to take a picture of it.
Can I pull it up?
Now, what was he chill to take the picture, or was he
Oh yeah,
he seems really chill, dude.
Everyone was going up to him. Maybe not everybody, but a good amount of people. And he was cool. He's chatting with people, chilling. He was doing his thing. I think I think Wreckage and Anxious didn't get to play. Maybe I'm forgetting another band. But yeah, I don't know. I think he was probably on the radar for that because of Anxious, if I had to guess.
Interesting. Has he ever covered them? Because I know he's really popular with his reviews, but I've never watched his videos.
Yeah, I used to like him a lot when I was in college and high school. I guess his breakout review was Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Okay.
But I think he's had more notable ones, but that was a record he gave a 10 out of 10 to. And I think his review was super in depth. People took onto it. Oh yeah, this guy has good opinions. But I think he's a little polarizing because a lot of people don't like his reviews or his opinions.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, so. But I've always been a fan of him. I like him.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Kendrick Lamar, and I always like catch heat for that. But I just, I listen to his stuff, but just never really could get into it.
Another record that he reviewed that really stood out to me was Daughters. I don't know if you've ever listened to Daughters.
Like the grindcore band?
Yeah. I mean, they were a grindcore band back in like the 2000s, but they put out their newest record. I believe he gave that a 10 too.
Oh, really? Yeah, because I think I saw them on a Health S DVD like back in the day.
Same Daughters, yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Different sound, but yeah, same band.
Interesting. Now I'm curious. All right.
Gave that a 10 too, I think. I'd have to go back and revisit it. It's been a while, but.
Okay, interesting. Well, now I'm curious. Now I got to go watch his YouTube channel because to give those records 10s. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, it's like the Needle Drop. That's his like YouTube name. I don't know if it's changed. That's what it was back in the day, but
the Needle Drop. Okay, yeah. I don't really watch like music review channels, but I'll tap in.
He's like the only one that I saw. I couldn't name you anybody else that I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like he's like no.
Okay. Well, going forward, is there any other? Obviously, like we've covered a lot, right? Shout out to
motorcycles to hardcore to Pokemon. Oh, I watched. You watched 299 last night.
Oh, you want to talk UFC? Of course. I know there hasn't been any like MMA episodes on the podcast, but I'm the guys Jeff Yuma and my buddy Nate. We're doing one for 300. So for anybody who listens, who cares, we are doing an MMA show, breaking down 300 and all things MMA coming very soon. But yes, I did watch 299. I'm a huge fan. I still keep up to this day. That's like the one sport where I'm like super obsessed, and I feel like I put like my love for like MMA on like the same level as like my love for like hardcore and like video games. It's just it's something that I just can't get over. But yeah, I did. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Favorite fight? I missed Dustin knocking out.
Oh my God. Okay. See, that was the fight that I was going to go to, because it's been a while where because I watch it where I'm sitting now. Because sometimes I'll drive back home and go watch it at like Dave and Buster's or whatever, or get it at like a homie's house, whatever. But I just was at home last night. So I was sitting here just so nervous, right? Because this is like one of those like pivotal fights for both fighters, right? Because like Dustin Poirier, is he on the decline because he just got head kicked in his last fight? Is Benoit Saint Denis going to be the next one up and knock out or finish Dustin Poirier, because he's on all of his fights 100% finish rate? So I was so nervous, but round one, Dustin kept going for his guillotine. He's being very stubborn, even though, post fight, he's telling everybody that all of his coaches were telling him, don't go for the guillotine, but he kept going for it. And it's like every bad position he got put in was because he tried for that damn guillotine. So I was like very nervous, but then, round two, when he caught him with like that left and right on the chin and stunned him, I started screaming because I was like, oh shit, this is it. He's gonna finish the fight. But then when he eventually knocked him out, I was just full on screaming because it was just so exciting, and I was just so happy for him, because I'm a huge fan of like him, like as like a fighter, right? Like he's an amazing fighter, but I just like him as a person, just like his hot sauce and just like his interviews. I just love his personality. So I'm just like a fan of Dustin Poirier. So just to see him win in devastating fashion, but then also everybody like had him as an underdog. So I thought that was like disrespectful, but it was just a great outcome. It was just fucking awesome.
I feel like when Volk got KO'd, everyone was just like, oh, like 35, 36, everyone's on the decline there. And I feel like it's just situational, like, I'm not saying that Volk's been declining anyway, but I feel like that KO influenced kind of the underdog rating there.
Okay.
More so, but yeah, I'm stoked Petr Yan won.
Oh, so I'm anti-Petr Yan. I've never liked him.
And
no.
Controversy.
Yeah, you watch MVP versus Kevin Holland?
Of course. No, I watched the whole card. Yeah.
Yeah, MVP. I was excited for that one. I don't know. It just looks like if you're looking at it from like Kevin Holland's standpoint, he just looks very frustrating to fight. Like if you're like fighting Michael Venom Page, like I don't know, like his side stance and like hands go down 24/7, like it's like irritating to watch, but he's still so good that it's just like crazy.
Yeah. I picked MVP just because I know his skill level. But I thought Kevin Holland would have done a little better because he's fought Wonder Boy, right? And he has like that same like, point style karate. But yeah, I think for MVP to come in and fight someone, is like, highly skilled as Kevin Holland for his like debut in the UFC and the way he performed, I think he did fine. I think he's able to hang in the UFC. Like, yeah, he lost to Michael Perry and bare knuckle. He got knocked out by, Diego Lima. Shit happens, but he's still a good fighter. So I think he'll do fine in the UFC, but I don't know if he'll be champion because if you get to like the upper echelon of the welterweight division, it's just too many killers.
He'll get hype fights, but I think you're right. I think maybe he'll get like a title shot, but like I don't know, welterweight is kind of stacked. I mean, you got Shavkat, like which will inevitably be to the top very soon, in my opinion.
Well,
I think Wonder Boy would be awesome. I think that would be like a fight to make, though technically speaking, I don't think it would make sense because he's at a loss. But
yeah, but also I think they're friends. I think people have asked me about that before, and I think MVP has come out and said that they're friends and that they wouldn't fight.
Oh, MVP and Wonder Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but you mentioned Shavkat, Jack Della. JDM, I was trying to pronounce his last name.
That would be a perfect matchup.
Yeah, he called out Shavkat, and I'm like, all right. It's like I think Sean Shelby will do that because nobody calls out Shavkat because he's so skilled and up there in the rankings. So the people above Shavkat don't want to fight Shavkat. So there's someone who's ranked and calling him out. I think that they're willing to make that fight.
Yeah, it was weird seeing Gilbert Burns that hurt. Like a lot of people saying it was a late stoppage or whatever, but it was very definitely crazy. I didn't expect him to get as hurt as he was going to be. I know that guy was undefeated, but yeah, Shavkat versus Medellina would be awesome.
Yeah, and Gilbert, I think, is one of those fighters that I think we've like his better days are past him, which is sad because I'm a fan of Gilbert Burns, but I just feel like for as good as he is, you saw somebody in there that had better striking and younger. And I feel like that's just the wave, and it doesn't get easier, in that division. And so I feel like Gilbert already had a shot at the title. Unfortunately, he didn't get it. But I feel like his better days are past him, which is sad. But that's just how this sport is, right? Like you gotta appreciate your favorite fighters, while they're around and doing their thing because the sport moves so fast and it's just it's sad because it's fighting, right? Like somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose. So it just sucks because like I've seen some of my favorite fighters at the top of the game and now there's not even fighting anymore. So
yeah, and Gilbert's been like super active. Like he's been fighting like very like super. I feel like I've seen him fight like 3 or 4 times in the past like 6-ish months. Like I don't know. I just maybe should just take a break for me. Yeah.
The fight where he had his shoulder hurt. Who was he fighting in that fight? Was it Bilal?
Don't remember. The last one I remember watching vividly was Burns versus Masvidal.
I'm looking this up because this is gonna bother me. But yeah, there's a fight where he hurt his shoulder like pretty early on in the fight. But then that was his last fight. Yeah, he lost to Bilal because he beat Masvidal. That was a good win. But then he fought Bilal and his shoulder got like hurt, and it was like clearly visible, and like everybody knew it. Even Bilal knew it, but he just kept fighting and it went to a decision and he lost. I was like, damn, he should have just thrown a towel or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, good. It was a great pay-per-view. To me, it felt like during the main event when you could hear the crowd over the commentary. I was like, it must be insane in that venue right now because all the chants for Cheeto, the chants for Sean O'Malley. I was so surprised, but
I kind of saw that. I didn't put any parlays, but I saw that decision kind of coming. I didn't watch that fight either because it got too late. It was running crazy late. I had to get up really early. But yeah, I was kind of, I don't like dislike or like Sean or Cheeto.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not my favorites in the division. I think Marab is like going to steamroll through Sean at some point. But I don't know. I feel like he said he would fight Marab anyway, right? The post fight.
Yeah, he
called
said
out fucking Ilya. So I mean, that would be an interesting fight, but I kind of want to see him fight Marab more. So
yeah, like I picked Sean, but I was rooting for Cheeto because Cheeto he trains out here in Orange County. Trains with Jason Perillo, his boxing coach. So I always like am biased and try to root for the Orange County guys when they're fighting. But yeah, I think Sean O'Malley looked really good, but I feel like if he fights Marab, he loses. I feel like Corey Sandhagen's like my favorite out of the division. I feel
my favorite bantamweight, along with Piotr Jan. Like Sandhagen versus Jan was like the fucking shit. Like that was the best fight.
Yeah, but I feel like Marab or Sandhagen. Well, I think Marab's obviously up next, but I feel like that's like the craziest fight that I want to see is Marab versus Sandhagen.
Yeah. I don't know. It's scary for me because, like, I don't know. I just like Marab is so good that I just like don't want to see Corey lose. I just want to see I want to see Corey versus Sean really bad, even though it doesn't make sense on the ranking. But like I feel like that would just be a 5-round war, dude. Like that would be like probably a UD for sure.
Yeah, definitely be a good one. But yeah, but I think I get Marab O'Malley next. I think Marab becomes champion
for sure. Yeah, in all realistic expectation. Probably right.
100%. All right.
Shout out Herrera, Danbury, Connecticut.
Yo, that's so crazy, right? This crazy guy from Brazil. He just comes in, storms the UFC. He's multi-weight champion, and it's crazy. Dude,
it's insane. Just like why pick Danbury out of all the places?
I was gonna say because he went there because of Glover, but like.
Oh right, okay. That makes sense.
But like, why did Glover go there? Like, what is there? Like before them, I've never even heard of Danbury.
Tony, we're very close to Danbury. We're like fucking 30 minutes, so it's basically like our backyard,
Dude, you guys should go train there.
I mean, Tony used to fight. I did Taekwondo as a child, but that was about it. But I just like watching it. Maybe one day I'll train. But
you used to train. You used to train, Tony?
Yeah, I did Muay Thai and Dutch style kickboxing for a couple years. I miss it a lot, dude.
That's crazy.
You train?
I did. Okay, so there's a featherweight fighter, Cub Swanson. So he's from where I grew up out in like the Palm Springs area. So I trained at his gym for like a year, but then I moved to Orange County and I realized I wasn't going to be UFC champion. So I just stopped.
Most of us are.
Yeah, because like, dude, it was rough because I would like work my full-time job and then I would go to MMA at night. And there's like I'm sparring this fucking lightweight who has a fight coming up, who's just got done with like strength and conditioning and jiu-jitsu from earlier in the day, and he was a nice guy, right? Like like super nice, and would like because like I'm such a nerd about MMA, I would ask him like a ton of shit, but like that was like his job, right? Was to be an MMA fighter. So I was like, there's no way I could do it. Like, and this was like me, like mid-20s, like maybe if I was like a young kid and like I like had a discipline. Like, or maybe if I started training MMA when I was younger, but there was just like no way I was going to close that skill gap. So I just was like, all right, let me just save my brain and just be a fan. And, much respect to all the people who can do it.
There you go. It's fun until it's not fun. When you spar with like guys who are serious and do that as a profession, and spend real time in their waking lives becoming very proficient fighting machines, it's not fun anymore. Like getting your leg chopped down from leg kicks in Muay Thai, it sucks. The next day you're like limping and shit.
Yeah, I remember we were rolling with our jiu-jitsu coach, right? I'm a white belt, this dude's a black belt, and he was on top of me, and it felt like there was like 100 tons on top of me because I could not for the life of me get him off of me, and he was just toying with me, obviously because he was like way more skilled than me, but it was just like mind-blowing like how much more advanced he was.
Yeah.
because I thought I could do something, because like because like, you know, it was like an MMA gym. There's people always like rolling through. And I remember this brown belt came in, and they didn't take me serious, so I just ripped a sick guillotine on this brown belt, and tapped him. So me being a white belt tapping a brown belt that didn't take me serious, I was like, hell yeah, like that's sick. But when we got matched up again, that same brown belt slapped on an armbar faster than I could blink, because they wanted their revenge. And oh my god, it was crazy. But just like doing stuff like that was like fun, but at the same time, it's just like,
there you go. So you're mainly jiu-jitsu?
No, it was just I'm MMA, because like we do everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I've never tapped into jiu-jitsu seriously. I've like tried it once or twice, but it's much more methodical, and like there's intelligence in fighting, you know, across all disciplines. But like you can be a real meathead about kickboxing and like not really be too strategic. You won't deal well, obviously, but like it's a lot more fun to hit a heavy bag and just like get your like, you know, your aggression out on it. Where like I feel like jiu-jitsu guys are always like very chill and even keeled, friendly guys, and like that's the vibe. And if you come in with like crazy energy, they don't vibe with it. Not that I don't think I try to put that energy out, but like, you know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. Yeah, because it's like they're all just like killers amongst each other. They're just chilling. They're trying to get better. They're not trying to, you know, be all macho and you know, be bullies. Yeah. Like I've like the short time that I did train, like everybody was like super nice. And I have a buddy who's in the UFC now, and this is crazy to think about, because like when I moved to Orange County, he had just moved to California to do like more like serious MMA training, and he like invited me to like the private gym that he was training at, because it was like this like private facility for like professionals, and or like obviously like or friends of the professionals. So he was like, dude, he's like, because he was asking about if I was still training. I told him that I wasn't, and he's like, dude, you should just like come train here, like don't give up on it. But I was just like, dude, like I'm not you. Like you obviously like, and he already had fights, you know, under his belt, but I was like, dude, I'm not you. I was just like, this is like your path, like much respect to you. But I was like, I appreciate the offer, but I'm just going to weigh you down. Like, I'm just like, I would love to go and, you know, train at this like private facility, but I just like, I can't, because I'm not like you're a fighter. Like I can fight, but I'm not a fighter, if that makes sense. So much respect to him. Sure. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Khalil Roundtree, is he from California?
No, I think he's is he from California? I thought he's originally from no, maybe.
Or maybe over here. I'm not sure, but I noticed that I think I read an article one day that he was super into hardcore, and like still is, and he follows Age of Apocalypse on Instagram. I noticed one day. So I thought that was cool. I was like, "Oh fuck!" I sent it to them. I was like, "Yo."
Yeah, no, he's definitely still into hardcore, because he's like I know him. Like we have like the same friends, so I know he still goes to shows like when he can, and he does like his own like fitness training camp, because I actually just saw a video of my friend Eddie training with him.
Yeah, I watched like most recently, like him versus Anthony Smith was like.
Oh my
the most scary out I've seen in like a fucking long time. Like that shit made me like shudder. That was so bad.
Yeah, it's like how do you like when I think it's like how the hell do you still like live normally after getting hit in the head that hard? It's insane. But yeah, no, he's still a hardcore kid. He still listens to music. He's sick.
Yeah, it's cool seeing that crossover, because I feel like you don't see it like super often in like the UFC.
Yeah, like the only other person I can think of was the singer of Spine. His brother's in the UFC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, but outside of that, I don't really think there's anybody else. No, there's like small little crossovers, but I don't know anybody who's like legitimately into hardcore. Because like Dan Hardy, you know Dan Hardy, right? The fighter. He was a welterweight. He had a red mohawk.
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, he doesn't fight anymore. He does like more like commentary stuff for these international cards, because he's from the UK, I think. But anyways, I used to watch him fight like in like the UFC, and he had these like skull tattoos on his legs. And I was like, damn, those look like the Blood for Blood skulls, but I'm like, there's no way this guy likes Blood for Blood. But then fast forward to 2013, Blood for Blood's on tour. And they played in Pomona. So I went and saw them, and Dan Hardy's on stage with Blood for Blood. So I'm like, oh shit. Like those are Blood for Blood skull tattoos on his legs. That's insane.
Another guy that I just thought of, Matt Brown. I guess not like technically like in like a current scene type thing, but you know, I know he rocks with Hatebreed and Pantera and shit.
Okay.
And Matt Brown is like a fucking OG, he's a legend. So shout out him.
Yeah. Hey, remember you watched 299? The referee, no nonsense. What was his name? Is it Keith Peterson? The guy with like the neck tattoos.
Yeah.
Apparently he sang in a hardcore band.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I haven't really looked into it too much. But yeah. But apparently he was like a hardcore dude.
Shit. Sick to see a crossover. There you go.
Yeah, somebody needs to walk out to like Terror or something. Like
I know. Yeah. I mean, MVP walked out to The Undertaker. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, back in the day, Andre Arlovsky walked out to Ice Pick. So I was like, if he can walk out to Ice Pick, somebody can walk out to Terror or something cool like that.
Yeah, I think I forget what fighter it was, but like they wanted like it was fucking Mike Perry. Like Mike Perry wanted like the Halo theme song. And like they gave him Halo by Beyonce or some shit.
Oh, okay.
Like,
that's rough.
That's like the best. I think, but it's Mike Perry, so it's like an immediate classic. He walks in, he's like, "Oh shit!" Like,
yeah, he's like, "This is not what I picked, but all right, whatever."
Yeah, that shit's funny.
That's crazy. All right. Well, I could talk about MMA all day, but I appreciate you guys, stopping by the podcast. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Hudson Valley. Hopefully I can make it out there one day. That's like a dream of mine. We got to go to that sandwich shop. I forget the name.
Well, there's a new one. There's like two now. So we went to the new one.
Okay. All right. Well, got to get out there sometime. I'll figure it out. But before we sign off, is there anything else you guys would like to say?
Shout out Streets of Hate. Shout out Hudson Valley. Shout out Afira. Shout out everyone. It's a great time to be in hardcore. That's stoked.
Oh, another thing. May 3rd in Poughkeepsie. Soulblind. The return of Soulblind. New World Man. Discontent. Means of Survival. EP release. Cross of Disbelief. Potentially one other band I'm missing.
First Crush Your Soul Hudson Valley show. It gets announced tomorrow, so I think it's going to get announced before this podcast drops, right? I'm not sure when it's. Yeah, so I think it gets announced tomorrow. I just got the flyer. Yeah, Poughkeepsie. Dope fucking show coming up.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys' time. I thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Goodbye.
Peace,
Jamie.